When you enter the Linux terminal, you'll be welcomed by your command prompt. On the left side, the first part before the @ sign is the username. The second is the host name after the @ sign. The little tilde there means that it's the current user's home directory. And the $sign means that we are a standard user. So we're not the root and we're not the admin. We're just a regular plain old user. So let's explore this a little bit. Where are we? To find out where we are, we use a command called pwd, which is the present working directory. Go ahead and type that in and press enter, and you can see I'm in the home directory. My Nomad Soul directory is in the home directory. We call them directories. We don't call them folders like they do in Windows. So if I want to go to my home directory, you would think to yourself, well, I just do a CD and then home. But that won't work because you have to go back to your home directory. So there's kind of a going back to a folder and a file and going forward to a folder and a file in Unix and Linux. So to go back, we just do a cd command and 2 dots, dot. And now we're in our home directory. So there's two things we can do here. We can just stay in our home directory, or we can go back into our user's root directory. So we're not quite at the top of our tree, as we call it, yet. So we want to go find out what else we can look at. So let's go into cd and /. For our users now, for a plain old standard user, we're as far up the tree as we can go. Or you might want to think, if you're from Windows, you might say you're at the bottom of your file structure. I don't know how they designate that, but the top of the tree in Unix is pretty much the root, what we call the root. This is not actually the root of the system. This is your root of the standard user. So let's do a ls. This means list. This is probably the first command that Unix and Linux users learn. So here's our system. Now, since you're a standard user, you won't have permission to get into a lot of these. For example, root, cd, root. See, permission denied. Okay, so what do we do if you're the administrator? You have to have root privileges. So let's go ahead and do a clear. This will clear the screen. And now to get into our root directory and get admin privileges, we do a sudo minus, this is called a switch, I just call it minus I. The switch gives us alternatives. So it's going to ask for your password. Now when you type your password in, you won't see it printed to the screen. So you're just going to have to believe that you typed in your password. This is kind of confusing, but go ahead and type in your password and hit enter. Now, as you can see, we're the root user. So what do we do from here? Where are we? Let's look and see. pwd. We're in the root directory. Can we go down? Let's see what's in there. Oh, your mama's in there. Okay, so we're not quite down into the root yet. So let's do a cd / go down into the real root. I put that yo mama directory in there. Okay, so that's not a default directory in root or anything. So let's do ls here. Okay, now we're back into our root directory, our real root directory. And let's see if we can access root now. cd root. Yeah, we can get in there. Let's see what's in the root directory. Yo mama. And anything else? Let's do a LSL and an A. Now what the LSLA means is that we're going to list everything, and the A will list our permissions, and the L will list our permissions, and the A will list any hidden files. So here's all our stuff in there. So look at this. Well, what do you know? We got a bunch of hidden files in there. A bunch of hidden files. So let's go back. Let's go clear. Let's do that again. Let's just do a LSA switch. So this is our root directory, and these are our permissions for the root directory. Later on in another video, I'll explain what all these -RWs, -R, -R are. What this is. These are permissions to access, read, and write to the file. Okay, so let's get back to our user's home directory now. How do we do that? We just do exit. Now we're back. All right. So we can let's do ls. There we are again. So we want to go into our home directory. cd home. Okay. So let's do what I promised to do. Let's learn a few commands. The very basic commands. ls is the most basic command. Let's go into Nomad Soul. cd is another basic command. Nomad Soul. Now we're in the Nomad Soul's home directory. Let's ls that. Anything in there? No, we got, these are our own personal directories that we can access and populate. Okay, so, and again, cd will move us up the tree into the parent, what we call the parent directory. So if you have a file called home, and there's another a folder called home, and then there's another directory in that your home folder called King Tut. Okay, so if you're in the King Tut directory, well then you can cd back up to your home directory. Okay, that was kind of a silly example, but let's here's another one. Let's go into our Nomad Soul. All right, and let's make a directory, mkdir. Let's call it King Tut. All right, now we just made a directory. Let's go into our directory and let's ls. There it is, King Tut. Let's cd into King Tut. Born in Arizona, moved to Babylonia. King Tut. So we're in the King Tut directory. Now we want to go back to our our Nomad Soul directory, or in our home directory. So we're in King Tut, which is in Nomad Soul, which is in our home directory. Okay. So there we go, and that's our cd go move up a directory into this is our home directory, not our root directory. And remember, to get into your root directory, you do a cd/, and you're in your standard directory, and remember, you're not in the root directory. To get into your root directory, you have to do a sudo. So sometimes you have to get into your root directory to do some work, and especially if you're the admin of your network, you have to change some things, give permissions to folders and files. Okay, so that's the basic commands of a few commands that the first ones we usually learn when we're learning Unix. So let's go ahead and exit out of there, exit out of our root. First let's go back and do this one again. And so now we're really in the root system directory, and that's our system directory right there. Okay, so we're going to explore a little bit of this later, a lot more. And we're going to look into these and find out what these the bin and dev and lib and root, snap, boot, all these directories here down here we're gonna look at and explore a little bit more and find out what they do. So let's clear the screen. CLEAR, clear. And next video we're going to do some permissions. We're going to talk about permissions, reading and writing. Well, we're going to make a file, and we're going to talk about the ownerships of our files and folders. So thank you for watching.